Hello and welcome once again to the Thrifty Collector. It's been a little while since I've done a sports card show, so I'm going to do it. I was lucky enough to go to Pensacola the other day, and I went to a place called Ben's Card World. It's a card shop in Pensacola, Florida, so if you're ever in the area, check them out. Good selection of sports cards. Also has a lot of the Pokemon, Magic kind of cards, and a lot of video games there. And I'm talking like PS1, PS2, and the new stuff, of course. But I was lucky enough to pick up some cards, and of course, one of the cards I picked up is my favorite card to pick up for $5 and under is the Roger Craig rookie card. Now, Roger Craig, I've done a few videos where I've had his cards. He's the first guy to ever get 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in a season. How this guy is not in the Hall of Fame is beyond me. It might be one of those things, kind of like the 70s Pittsburgh Steelers, where they put a lot of guys in. And unfortunately, they put in Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, two guys that I really don't think were Hall of Famers. But they put them in and maybe left out somebody like L.C. Greenwood out. But this is Roger Craig's. He's a great signer. Sometimes he'll actually even send you an extra card. So go ahead and pick these up. One of these days he will get in the Hall of Fame, and he will no longer sign for free because that's what everybody does, because the agents get to him. The next card I picked up was a Tommy Chambers rookie card. And yes, I know there are some of those star cards from like 83 and 84, but this is the 86 Fleer set. It's the set that everybody says these are the rookie cards, because a lot of those star cards were just sold in team bags and weren't really necessarily cards that you can buy in packs like the Tom Chambers. If you look at Tommy Chambers, had a great career, probably eventually will get in the Hall of Fame. If you look at his numbers, he had that amazing dunk over Mark Jackson where his knees were just about above Mark Jackson's head when he did that dunk. So very happy to pick that up. The next card that I picked up, and I only picked up 3, was the 1970 Topps World Series Mets card. This card does have some issues to it, does have some creasing in it. I'm going to try this thing that I watched where this guy had like clamps and pieces of wood to help try and get some of those creases out. But altogether, I only paid $10 for all 3 of these cards. The Craig was $5, the Tommy Chambers was $5, and the Mets World Champions was $1. What's kind of also nice about that card, and why a lot of people go after this card, is for the simple fact that it's number 1. They also did it in 1970 with the Baltimore Orioles. Their team card was number 1. So they did that for the World Series champions those years. And there are still a few of these Mets players from the 1969 set. Unfortunately, I think one of the ones that just passed away was like Ed Kranepool. So, but I'll get whoever I can get on here, and it'll be a fun card because that 69 Mets team was the Miracle Mets. Great team to have. Now, let's go over some of the cards that I've gotten through the mail here lately, and I haven't been doing these a lot lately, and I've got a pretty good stack, and pretty soon, yes, I will be doing it. And unfortunately, I've been so busy working on my car that the cards have kind of taken a back seat to everything. But let's see what we have here. This is Frank Carpin, and of course, that's with the Pittsburgh Pirates. What I did like about Frank Carpin is the fact that he was a University of Notre Dame Irish player, and he wrote on the back of my envelope, "Go Irish," which is kind of cool. One of the next cards I have, after I get done hitting my camera, is Duffy Dyer. Now, Duffy Dyer had a pretty good career. He was actually on that 1969 Mets set. And I have that 69, I think it's National League rookie outfielders or rookie catchers. I can't remember, but Duffy Dyer's actually on that. And I've got 2 of those signed. Carol Chaney is another guy, and I can't remember off the top of my head who the other one was. But what I always liked about Duffy Dyer cards, it always had some kind of position with him. Now, he was more of a backup, so he was probably just warming up pitchers for this, and this is obviously in spring training. This card, this is his 1973. His first one was the 1971 card. But what a great card, what a great photo. Topps really did great in the 70s. And I'm going to show a couple cards, and you're going to see why the late 60s were not really their best cards. And then the last one I have is a 1970. So once again, this is probably at a game more than likely, but I'm not 100% sure. But as like the other one was definitely a spring training game, but you have Duffy Dyer. He ended up playing with the Pirates. I think he was on the 1979 Pirates World Series team. Not 100% sure, but I think he might have been. Now, I was given 3 cards by Jimmy the Gent, and this guy is Dave Bristol, and I'm going to show these cards actually out of year order to kind of show what I was just saying about those late 1960 cards. Why do I like Dave Bristol? Dave Bristol was hired as the Reds in about 66, 67. He was 33 years old. He was supposed to be the big up-and-coming manager, the one that was going to take the Reds to the next level with all those talented players, the Pete Rose, the Johnny Benches, the Tony Perez's, and didn't really do great until they got Sparky Anderson. So that's a whole different story. But he had 3 cards regular set, and he was also had a 1981 Donruss card. But this is his 1968 card. Love the big, if you can look at his left cheek, the huge amount of chewing tobacco in his mouth. So, but that's a great card to have. And this is great. He's 90 years old and still signs great. Now, the next 2 cards I'm going to show you are the example of why there was a problem with the 1960s, especially late 1960s Topps cards. So this is his first card. This is the 1967, as you would say, his rookie card. And then they pretty much use the same picture. I'm going to actually put them side by side. So if you kind of look right there and right there on his collar and the way the collar is there. So what happened is Topps was basically paying these guys nothing to make baseball cards. And so in 68, 69, a lot of players were refusing to let Topps take their picture. So the fact that they couldn't take their picture, basically what they would do is they would go back a year or 2 years and sometimes 3, 4 years of pictures they had taken, because it's not like the photographer took one picture and said, we're good. He would take a bunch of pictures. So you can actually tell that this is literally the same day. Also, the sleeves on this card, if you look, it kind of has the red sleeves, and I believe that's when they wore the tank tops, kind of, sort of, and then you had the red sleeves coming out from underneath. So 67, 69, same day, same photographer. He just probably popped a couple different pictures. In the 67, he said, hey, Dave, kind of smile a little bit with that chewing tobacco in your mouth. And then in 69, they just picked a picture that was probably taken 2-3 seconds later. So, and I am sending these out, so I'll look forward to get these done. I do have the 2 Topps, the 80 and 81 signed. I'm going to have to pick up an 81 Donruss, probably going to have to pay $2 shipped on eBay for it, but I'm going to get it. And then that way I'll have all the Dave Bristols. I can call it a day, celebrate the fact that I have all of his, and then put him in the closet with everything else. So I hope you enjoyed this, my through the mail successes, my future through the mail successes, and also the 3 cards that I bought for $10 at Ben's Card World in Pensacola, Florida. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Stay thrifty as always.